up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Dozens of U.S. House Republicans are pushing President Donald Trump to establish official ties with Taiwan. Harrell Hughes tells us more.
A proposal to officially recognize Taiwan is gaining traction in the U.S. House of Representatives. At least 24 Republicans have endorsed the resolution put forth by Representatives Tom Tiffany and Scott Perry for U.S. President Donald Trump to officially abandon the current U.S. policy toward China and Taiwan. That policy, called the One China policy, has been in place since the 1970s, and it sees the U.S. maintain unofficial relations with Taiwan while also acknowledging but not backing Beijing's claims over the island. Taiwan has had consistent support from Congress over the years, but this year there's renewed hope for a breakthrough.
国会挺台湾的这个力道，我们必须要维持住。可是，我想我们可能必须要设法强化跟这个行政团队的关系。
Now, this is not the first time this resolution has been presented to the House. It has been put forth by the 2 Republican representatives every year since 2020. But they are hoping that under a new administration and growing threats of a trade war between the U.S. and China, Taiwan could gain even more support, this time from the president himself. John Su and Harrell Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
The Defense Ministry has reported the largest ever daily incursion of Chinese balloons into the area around Taiwan. It says 6 balloons were spotted near Taiwan over a 24-hour period ending early Friday morning. At least one flew directly over Taiwan at an altitude of 6,000 meters. The ministry says it also spotted 9 Chinese aircraft, 6 warships, and 2 official ships. U.S. President Donald Trump says Panama gives China preferential access to the Panama Canal. Panama says it gives equal access to all users. But under pressure from the U.S., Panama has announced it will exit China's infrastructure project, the Belt and Road Initiative. To learn more, Otto Brar spoke to Eric Olander, a co-founder of the China Global South Project.
U.S. President Donald Trump says that China has an outsized influence on the operation of the Panama Canal. What does he mean by this?
Donald Trump and his associates are concerned about the presence of CK Hutchinson Whampoa, which is the Hong Kong-based shipping company's presence on 2 of the ports, 2 out of the 5 ports along the canal. And now those are significant ports in part because they're at the beginning of the canal and at the end of the canal. So first and foremost, the Americans view this as a security threat in terms of the ability to move their commerce through the canal, their ability to move their Navy ships through the canal, and just the presence of, Chinese entities, even though they're from Hong Kong, in such prominent places along the canal. Those 2 ports actually account for about 40% of the traffic that does move through the canal, so they have a significant presence. Now, this is a private Hong Kong company. It is not the Chinese government. And so the way that the administration has framed this is that this could be a security threat because they could shut traffic down on the canal.
Panama has now submitted documents to exit from the Belt and Road Initiative after pressure from the Trump administration. What is the state of relations between Panama and China, and how might this affect them?
Panama was a part of the Belt and Road Initiative. The government has now submitted the paperwork to leave the Belt and Road, making it the first Central American or South American country to exit the Belt and Road. The relationship between China and Panama was getting quite close. China and Panama established diplomatic relations in 2017 after Panama switched its affiliation and recognition with Taiwan to China. In that intervening time, the Chinese came to invest heavily in the canal, as we've talked about, but also in financial services, also in a number of different trading. I mean, Panama is a major kind of interchange in Central America in terms of financial services. It's a dollarized economy, so it's very appealing. There was quite a bit of infrastructure that has been developed between the Chinese and Panamanians on this, in this relationship. And then, from 2017, for the first 3 or 4 years, there was a very active diplomatic presence. They had an ambassador who spoke fluent Spanish and he was very outgoing.
What other effects might Panama exiting the Belt and Road Initiative have?
I think the bigger issue, though, for the Chinese and the much bigger concern was the forced departure from the Belt and Road. And I take a much more aggressive view on this than I think a lot of people are, that I think that the reaction that Rubio got among the MAGA base in the United States to Panama withdrawing from the BRI was huge. And that is going to motivate Donald Trump and Marco Rubio now to look through the 140 or so countries that are member states of the Belt and Road and start finding everyone where they have the same kind of leverage that they have with Panama.
That was China Global South Project co-founder Eric Olander. Thailand and China have agreed to work together to take stronger action against rampant online fraud, an issue that has hurt the Southeast Asian country's reputation among tourists. The renewed vow comes as Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra is on a 4-day visit to China. Joyce has more.
A show of confidence in Thai-Chinese relations during Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra's first official visit to Beijing. At a time when Bangkok has been working to regain the confidence of Chinese tourists amid reported kidnappings in the Southeast Asian country. Paetongtarn's meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping comes on the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Xi used the occasion to commend Thailand's efforts in fighting online scams, Paetongtarn agreeing to jointly boost policing of the issue, among other collaborations.
โดยที่จะประสานความร่วมมือเชิงยุทธศาสตร์อย่างใกล้ชิดเพื่อสานต่อความสัมพันธ์ที่พิเศษนี้ถึงคนรุ่นต่อๆไปในอนาคตค่ะ
Thailand has been working to quell safety concerns by potential tourists, especially those from China, who make up the largest share of the country's visitors, even with an AI-generated video of Paetongtarn making a speech in Chinese.
亲爱的中国朋友们
It comes after a Chinese actor was allegedly trafficked last month across the Thai border to neighboring Myanmar, a hub for global multi-billion-dollar scam centers. The actor Wang Xing is one of thousands of Chinese nationals reportedly targeted by scams. After Wang's ordeal, local media reported around 10,000 Chinese tourists canceled their trips to Thailand, a threat to the Southeast Asian economy that relies on the sector for almost 20% of its GDP. Hours before Paetongtarn left for Beijing, Thailand cut power to several border areas in Myanmar to thwart operations of online scam factories, many of them thought to be run by Chinese criminal gangs.
เราไม่มีจุดที่คนจะสามารถกล่าวหาได้ว่ามีความเกี่ยวข้องเรามีส่วนเกี่ยวข้องหรือสนับสนุนให้ก่อให้เกิดสิ่งที่ผิดกฎหมาย
Aside from fraud, Xi and Paetongtarn pledged more cooperation on the digital economy, EVs, and infrastructure, including finalizing a delayed high-speed rail project linking Thailand directly to China through Laos. Beijing faces a new trade war with the U.S., with U.S. President Donald Trump at the helm. Though Thailand is a longtime U.S. ally, it maintains strong ties with top trading partner China, relations that Beijing could rely more heavily on.
Thailand had became the big hub of industry of China, especially car and some small technology. Thailand will become more strategic partner for China, not only in the economic term, but in security term. I think China will look at Thailand closely.
Amid rising tensions between the world's two superpowers, the Thai government's challenge will be to maintain its long-standing neutral position as a friend to both Washington and Beijing, building its prosperity at home and throughout the region. Dolphin Chen and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
2025 has barely begun, but last month already set a record for being the hottest January ever. And climate researchers say there's more to worry about.
It's also the 18th month in the last 19-month period where global air surface temperatures have been more than 1.5 degrees above that pre-industrial average.
The streak of extreme temperatures continues even with the shift into the cooling La Nina weather pattern. Scientists hope that as the pattern develops, 2025 will be cooler than the previous 2 years. But they say that with the continued burning of fossil fuels, La Nina may not be enough to turn down the heat on the rapidly warming planet. Taiwan has pledged to help Pacific ally Palau achieve its net zero carbon goals. The two countries signed a memorandum of understanding in Taipei. Taiwan will help Palau install state-of-the-art colored solar panels, which can be used to create images. It will also develop low-carbon transport infrastructure. Palau is made up of about 300 small, low-lying islands in the West Pacific. It is one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change and rising sea levels. President Lai Ching-te says he will hold a meeting to mediate between all 5 branches of the central government with a focus on restoring unity. The session is expected to address conflicts between the ruling and opposition parties that have rocked Taiwan in the past year. Monday's meeting will include the legislature, a branch led by the opposition that has passed a number of controversial laws and seen members come to blows on the chamber floor. The northern city of Taoyuan is hosting this year's Taiwan Lantern Festival, and as John Van Trieste reports, they're planning to hold the annual event in style.
In this park in Taoyuan, a wild Pikachu appears. That's as the northern city prepares to host this year's Taiwan Lantern Festival. Each year, organizers select a different locale to hold the event, and for its turn, Taoyuan has decided that giant Pokemon, some up to 12 meters tall, are the best way to attract big crowds. Already there's significant interest, even though the festival's only just started its soft launch.
我们的宝可梦家族已经到了我们的金堂园现场，还可以在我们整个光的游戏场灯区找到像是马戏团的表演啦，还有我们可以互动的这些灯组啦。
And there's tech too to make sure the event goes smoothly. The city's environmental department is bringing in AI to ensure guests take care of their garbage, because when it comes to litter, they've got to catch them all.
几个交通要道，还有我们的交流道出入口，我们都设置了这个 AI 双模组镜头的摄影机，有效的提高我们的侦查跟搜证。
The annual event officially opens on February 12th, the day of the Lantern Festival that closes the Lunar New Year season, and it runs through the 23rd, giving Taoyuan a chance to show off its charm. Andy Xue and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website and follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we present images of a street mural in Damascus expressing the artist's hopes for a free Syria. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Put your hands up!
Bringing in the new year with Rattle and Charm, TaiwanPlus.